Hey everyone, believe it or not, I actually have a pond update for you guys. I know you're all extremely shocked. Adam at Indy Farm Life is talking about his pond again. I mean, it is pretty cool though. However, today's update is going to be a little different. What we are not going to talk about is the fact that this pond is still 100% full here in early July, which has never happened before, by the way. And we're not going to address the leak that I still haven't fixed. We're talking about aeration, pond products, etc. I do have a little bit of algae floaters out here I'm currently addressing. We are going to talk about a little electrical project I just completed out here by the solar panels. I'm actually pretty excited and, well, proud to show you this one. A couple bass there swimming. Do you guys see those? Actually, a lot of fish there swimming. I say proud because electrical work is not something I've done a lot of over the years. About 5 or 6 years ago when we built our house is when I really started learning a lot. My buddy was an electrician, and over the last few years I've really kind of honed my skills. So if you've been with the channel for a while, you might notice this looks a little bit different, a little more dressed up, and we got some elevated poles up here. So if we back this whole story up a little bit, up until about a year ago, the solar panels were out here by themselves, feeding the well pump and pumping water into the pond to help keep it full. Last fall I made the decision to run electric out here and set a panel, so now on demand we can run the well pump by electricity if we want to. So if I play God here and kill the sun, the well pump turns off. And if I open my panel, I can light it right back up. It takes a second for the controller to boot up. And there we go. Now the well pump is running on electricity. As part of running electric out here, I knew that I was going to relocate my aerator out here and upgrade my aerator. So now we have the Airmax aerator sitting out here. It's currently off because it's been about 95 degrees here every day. I'm trying to keep the temperature in the water down a little bit. Been running at night only. But just for proof, we flip that on. Now our aerator's running. We'll see that pop up here in a minute. And then the third reason to have electric out here was because of the giant water feature project I'm going to be working on here real soon. Again, the intention is to mount up a bunch of dirt right here where the golf cart kind of sits. That well pump is going to be the primary water source with a stream down, boulders, etc. Then we're going to put a big old pump out here in the pond, hook it up to electric, and on demand send multiple thousands of gallons over this water feature down into the water. I haven't got around to moving any dirt yet. It's been far too wet and I just haven't had the time. Mostly it's been too wet. Every week we're getting about 2+ inches of rain here in Indiana. That's why the pond looks as great as it does. That's fighting off evaporation, but the rain's been doing the heavy lifting on this pond. So the water feature project is still in the works, hoping to get started on that real soon as the rains slow down a little bit. I'm also trying to figure out my final plans on what pump I'm using, etc. But with electricity out here, the options are now kind of endless. And recently I added a pair of floodlights on these 2 posts here and another Reolink camera up top. All right, we'll let the sun take back over and we'll turn off the air. You guys can't see it bubbling out there. Turn off the air until nights. Keep these swimming temperatures down a little bit. So if you've been here before, you know that this solar ground mount's been here for about 2 years now. And up until last week, this back side looked like this front side. We just had these open-ended pipes right here on both sides. And I thought, well, why not get the tractor and drill another pole, put a T on there, and then set another 2-inch piece of rigid pipe on top of it. And that can be your main mount, and we'll have one on the other side where I did the exact same. Use the tractor, drilled out a post hole, filled the post full of concrete, and used a pipe wrench and threaded that baby in there and sat one on top of it. Now, admittedly, I was planning this out, and my initial intention was to add a 3rd post on top of this thing and make a flagpole out of that. I'm really glad I didn't try that. For one, after setting the first 10-foot section on top of that, the very top of that post is about 17 feet, and I did not want to rent a lift just for this project. Also then started thinking about the weight, the stress from a big flag up there, these T's being able to actually hold the pipe in high winds. Then my mind went to bad places, thinking this whole mass would fall and smash my solar panels, end up costing me more money than the whole project was ever worth. So I just went with one 10-foot post on this, then I had a scrap piece laying around for the other side. So this floodlight, I believe, is about 13 feet, and my camera is 15 feet, and that flood over there is about 12 or so. So I said I was proud, and I guess maybe here's why I'm proud. I've just come a long way with my electrical work. See the jumble mess of conduit and everything I've run out here. When I set these outlets last fall, I grabbed some pressure treated stuff, put my boxes on here, got one outlet dedicated for the aerator, and then a spare outlet for if you're out here camping or whatever, you got some electricity if needed. This time I thought I would do things right and more by the book. And I don't know if you can see up there, I actually put in the extra time, effort, and money and cut strut for all my mounts. You can see up top and below, I get U-bolts with strut mounted to it and did the strut nuts on there to pin everything in. A 100% weatherproof option long term. And then all my conduit runs, I've gotten so much better at being able to run conduit and understand what pieces you need and what options are available. By the way, I don't know about around you guys, but near me, Menards is the absolute best when it comes to conduit. I've done so many DIY projects over the years. I've learned which stores carry what and have the best selection. The quality and the quantity and the selection of the conduit at Menards and the prices, bar none, beat Home Depot and Lowe's for whatever reason, just FYI. So my pair of floodlights up there, those are operated off of 2 switches here, which I'm a big fan of smart switches. So I bought some Leviton smart switches here so I can control those remotely if need be. And you might ask, well, Adam, why'd you separate it into 2 different circuits? Well, it's 1 circuit, but 2 different switches. The idea is that you can light up the one on the left that will mostly focus on the water. I can orient these other cameras more back to this grassy area if I want. But Father's Day weekend, my wife surprised me with a camping night with me, my son, my dad, and one of my brothers and nephew made it over. We all hung out here late in the evening, and it got to that point where we needed more light. And we had lanterns for fishing and flashlights for the kids, but just have a little bit of extra glow would have been nice as we're around a campfire right here, trying to see things, find food, bug spray, etc. And I figured I could have that on a dimmer, have it on low to illuminate this area a little bit. And if we want, we could even swap those floodlights for more spotlights. And we were fishing right here with bobbers late at night. Trying to get light in your bobber out there can be difficult. We could swap those for spotlight style lights and have them out on the water if we wanted to be able to see bobbers. Just kind of making our little campground a little more functional. Functional fun is one thing, but security is also another. In a prior video, I was talking about a Reolink camera that I installed up there at the barn. You know, as pretty as this thing is, it's still a liability. God forbid if someone comes out here and drowns, even if they're trespassing, you're still likely going to have a suit on your hands. And if you have video evidence of what's going on out here at all times, that's a big deal. It's just one more way to protect yourself. So as I mentioned, I have a camera up there at the barn. I did a video on that. But up above, I mounted another Reolink smart camera. I'm not gonna go super in depth on this, but I will leave links below. Now this camera up here is pretty cool. The one up at the house is a PoE, so it's hardwired. This one is Wi-Fi, but it still requires electricity. So I got electricity to it, and it's running off Wi-Fi. This is very similar to the one up at the barn. But what's really cool about this one is the tracking function that this one has. And before I get too far into this, I do want to say thank you to the folks at Reolink for sending me this camera. I've been a diehard Reolink fan for a number of years, so this just fits, but check this thing out. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see it because the camera I'm using currently does not have zoom, but this has tracking functionality. So right now, you can see there's 2 lenses, it's pointed down at the water. If I walk over here, now I'm behind the camera. I don't know if you can see, it's pointed right at me. So here we are standing at the top of the ladder right by the camera. Get an idea of what this thing sees. But what's cool about this camera is if you see on the sides here, it has these little, call them panels. These are proximity sensors. So if the camera is pointed at the water and this sensor picks up activity over by the golf cart, the camera will turn. So I thought that to be a pretty cool feature. Oh, there it is, tracking me again. And it has floodlights. So these floodlights are also movable. You can angle them down or move them out to the right. I would show you, but I'm not going to let go of this pole right now. And you can throw an SD card in the bottom of it here to record. You can also pair this to your home NVR, like I mentioned on the other camera up there at the barn. So what's cool about those floodlights is you can actually change the color from like 5,000 Kelvin down to 3,000, so you can get the color you want, which would be nice because I can make it match my floodlights. You can have the light come on if it detects motion. It's got a siren on it. All the things that Reolink cameras typically have, this thing has it. I'll throw a link to the video of the camera up there at the barn, and then it'll be much similar to this one. There'll be a link to this one down below as well. I will say the tracking on this thing is incredible. Jumping all around on me. The settings on this thing are endless. You can say, hey, I want you to track digitally, you know, across the screen before you go to moving the actual camera. So that's how I have it set right now, kind of lessening the load on the motor. You can kind of deaden the sensitivity if you want, so that it picks up people in golf carts and not animals or that tree blowing over there. And that camera does have 2 lenses on it, so you get 2 pictures. What's really cool about that, much like the camera up there, one will stay wide angle all the time, and the other one is your zoom functionality. So they don't move independently of one another. You know, you'll get the same view wherever you move the camera, but then one has an incredible zoom, so you could pick out faces on that dock, no problem. And then after adding the light poles and the cameras, I thought it best to come in here and dress this up. I have a whole truckload of this river rock laying around. This is gonna be kind of the foundational rock for my water feature. Just thought it made sense to get some rock under this so I can mow around this, not to trim up under here, keep weeds from growing through. And I do have a landscape fabric underneath all of that. I hope this shows up okay on camera, but I'm standing in the shade. It's cooking out here, man. Indiana is just sweltering right now. But I apologize for not videoing all of this on some of these more tedious projects, especially where I don't stock everything I need and I'm running the Menards constantly. It's just easier if I show you at the end. Looking at this project, I can tell you that's a pretty significant repeat trip to Menards. I'm getting better, but I can't look at this right now and say, oh, here's the 65 items I need. I know exactly what I need. Just kind of work my way through it slowly. So it was a half hour before dinner, hour and a half after the kids go to bed, a Saturday morning, a Sunday evening, you know, here and there, just getting this thing done. And I really wanted to get this done before I start in on the water feature. Like I said, I'm gonna be mounting up about 10 or 12 feet of dirt right here, which is gonna have a pretty wide footprint down to the water as well. Wanted to get that post on the far side set with the tractor. Won't have a lot of operating room once that's in. Plus now I have some working lights from out here working on this later this summer. So what do you think? How'd I do? Does it meet the smell test? Any electricians out there want to critique me? I really probably don't need to even mention that solicitation for critiquing because I'm sure Kyle's going to bring it my way regardless. Anyway, let me know. What do you think? Am I getting better? Oh, and I may try to get you guys a night shot of this thing in the evening hours. When this thing's all lit up, it looks like an oil rig out here. I love it. So here we are out at the pond at night, about 10 o'clock at night. Still a fair amount of daylight here in Indiana, but let's light this oil rig up for you guys. The camera may not do it justice, but check it out. Like I said, I matched the light of the Reolink camera to match my floodlights, so give me 1 second and I will flip it over to show you how you can change it, that top one there. I think you can maybe tell that the top one now is a lot cooler of a light. Kind of a really cool feature that you can adjust that to match any other lights you have. Love that. Certainly a nice addition to have out here at the pond. So another pond project in the books. That wasn't on the spring radar, but something I definitely wanted to get done once I had the idea. There you go, there's proof that the pond's full. Like I said, a little bit of floaters here. They'll be gone today or so. I sprayed those last night. I'm also working on harvesting a few bluegill. Let's see if we got any in here. Looks like I baited that this morning. So I got 4. I'm gonna change the bait here in a little bit. Pull a few more out. Our bluegill population's out of control. I think I got a couple in my holding tank here too. I got 3 there. I got 7. All right. Dinner. While I got you, let's see what the water temps are. Mr. Shark used power washing. Looks like we're just about 82 degrees. Honestly, not bad considering the air temp has been 95 for the last 4 or 5 days. Keeping that aerator off, I think, is helping. You know, we're heating the top layers of the water during the day and then turning it at night to bring the cool water back up. Need the oxygen for the fish, obviously. But not having it turning during the day, we're not bringing all that water to the sun nonstop. So about 4 or 5 days ago, it was 78, 79 degrees. Now we're at 82. Usually this would be in the mid to upper 80s, certainly if we were running nonstop. So obviously I always have videos about this pond. We'll certainly have one about the water feature out there. Likely when I try to fix the leak over here at some point. Maybe the little cabana I want to build over here for storage. Probably not this year. But one thing I've never actually done for you guys is take a video of what it's like out here on a pond day. So obviously you see the water tables for the kids. I've got a sail or a canopy that goes over top of this. I did a build video on that years ago. And then I have 2 giant triangle canopies that go over top of the beach. Just the other day I actually added a mister on the deck here, or the gangway, to keep it cool for the kids running up and down, because this stuff cooks. You know, I'll rake it down with the tractor and the landscape rake. We'll get out the kids' toys. We'll get out a couple other pop-ups, a pool for the young kids, all the toys, the garden hose mister. It's quite the production when we're out here on a water day. And I haven't videoed that for you guys simply because it's usually a family day or friend day, and I don't want to commingle, you know, call it work and pleasure. However, I do think it'd be kind of cool for you guys to see what this is like set up. So if you'd like to see what this is all looking like when we actually have a pond day, drop a comment down below and let me know if you'd like to see that. It's early July. We try to utilize this thing as much as we can in the summer, so there'll be plenty of opportunities to do so. So if you want to see that, let me know down below and I'll video what it looks like a couple days before, the day before, as I'm getting things ready, cleaning things up, and then the ultimate setup. I know I talk about this pond a lot in all my videos, but as I've said before, this thing is the pride of the property. It becomes such a communal space. Absolutely love this thing. So hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.